Welcome, everybody, to Live with Dr. Carolyn Dean. Carolyn is amazing. She's a doctor, she's a naturopath, she's an herbalist, she's an acupuncturist. She's going to tell you exactly what she would do if she were in your shoes. I can't think of a person who has devoted more time to helping people's health than Dr. Carolyn Dean. She can make a huge difference as you listen to her words of wisdom. We know she's ahead of time because she is the doctor of the future. Welcome, Dr. Carolyn Dean.
I love those children.
Yes. Gosh, we've had them for a while, haven't we, Carolyn?
Yeah. Where did we get the children from?
The children were from, long time ago.
Okay. Okay.
We've had them since about 2012.
Right. Yeah, they're sweet. Okay, what are we up to today, Ginny?
Well, can you even believe it is December 29th of 2025, Carolyn, and this is our last show of the year.
No, I don't believe it. Roll it back or roll it forward.
Yeah.
I don't really care. I mean, I'm having a good time. I don't care.
Well, did you, I thought for sure you'd have some end of the year rant, but you don't.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have a rant.
Okay.
Let me just go to that. Are we ready for the rant?
Well,
Or do you want to introduce the show?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. I got way ahead of myself. My timing's off. Welcome, everybody, to Dr. Carolyn Dean's podcast. And of course, Dr. Dean is the world's leading expert on magnesium and mineral deficiency, as well as natural health strategies and solutions. She's the author of, 450,000 million trillion books, all of which are on her website. And she's been writing for a long, long time. I have one of her first books, which I think she wrote in 1990. And it's called When You Can't Reach the Doctor. And it's this little purple book. I'll show it to you sometime. And that's when she started telling people how to take care of yourself. Just because you can't reach the doctor doesn't mean you have to languish or perish. You just do a couple simple adjustments, and the next thing you know, you feel better. And she's been teaching people these strategies. She's been inspiring people to know that your body is a natural, effective healer, that you have the same inherent intelligence in every single cell that is in all of the universe, and that you can rely on your health and your body to perform everything it needs to do in order to keep you vital and alive as you pursue your purpose on the face of this earth. And that's what she's doing, the good work. Many, many years, I think 55 years, we've kind of come to the conclusion. Next year, it'll be 56. And we just know we can trust her. And of course, we rely on her so much. So welcome, Dr. Dean.
Thank you, Ginny. Awesome. Okay, mini rant.
Okay.
On MedPage today, I get a lot of my critiquing format from MedPage, Medscape, etc. So I was surprised when they put up that Kim Kardashian has a brain aneurysm. And apparently she advocates total body MRIs, magnetic resonance imaging. And on a recent brain MRI, they found a small aneurysm, which is a sign of a weak artery. And then there's a little bulge in the artery. And they said it was mild, but the point I wanted to, one of the points is, what are arteries made of? Collagen. What makes collagen? Protein and high dose vitamin C. And so that's what I get out of it. So what do other people get out of finding out, oh, you have an aneurysm, you have a bulge in your brain that
Mm,
could explode at any minute?
mm,
So it's much like how I used to rant about the genetic testing, 23andMe, where they would give you, they'd be so proud to give you the
mm,
top 100 genetic mutations that you were suffering. And what were you supposed to do with that? So you get all this information that's mostly irrelevant, and it just stresses you out.
mm,
And then, according to German New Medicine, you're dealing with the conflict of diagnosis. You've been diagnosed with a mild aneurysm or genetic mutation. What are you going to do with that except it rides around in your brain as a stress and creates a disease? It really does. So, what what I'm saying about any of this, and especially with MRIs, I remember a study they did on back pain, and
mm,
they got 100 people to do an X-ray, and they compared it to 100 people without X-ray. I mean, this is probably before informed consent,
mm,
but they found as many abnormalities in the spine of the people without back pain.
mm,
So what happens is when you get told, well, you have this, um, nodule or cyst or even tumor somewhere, what are you going to do? It is a way of just gaining more medical appointments, which it just makes more money for big medicine. So what I always say about any of this is you take our formulas. You're going to take your Remag, your Remite, your Realign, your Pico Potassium, your Pico Silver, your Pico Zinc Plus, and then your capsules of whole vitamin C, whole C reset, D3K2, omega 3 algae A plus E, and your vitamin C berry powder for the taste of all those minerals. You take all that for a fighting chance to stay healthy. And if you have a health problem, assess it for the conflict that you're under and work on that. And then take more of our formulas. Most people aren't taking enough. I mean, we have someone, Ginny, in the study, and we just found out she's only taking, I think it's a half a teaspoon of Remite instead of a teaspoon and a half, and complaining of, cold hands and feet. So
mm,
most people aren't taking enough.
mm,
But if you have ongoing symptoms, for sure, get them checked out. But research alternative treatments. If you're just being offered drugs and surgery to get rid of symptoms, you want to know what's wrong, and then you can look at alternatives. So I don't know if I've stepped into sort of the medical diagnosis and treatment there, but seriously, do your building blocks. An aneurysm can just be because you don't have enough collagen, and you don't have to buy big tubs of collagen. Collagen, it's a peptide. It's 3 amino acids. You take that into your mouth, the amino acids are going to break apart and just wander around in the body until your body needs them. They don't define themselves as, well, I'm a collagen amino acid. Take me to your leader. You eat any protein, and if you have enough vitamin C, then the amino acids for collagen and the vitamin C are going to work together and make you collagen if you have weak areas. I mean, it's just basic. Is that basic enough, Ginny? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it makes perfect sense, and I agree with what you say, mostly because you've taught it to me for so many years, that the diagnosis is often worse than the disease. And,
Yeah.
you have to do, Kim Kardashian's whole family and maybe 15 or 20 people around her that follow her lifestyle to see how many of those people have a little teeny tiny bubble in their brain. Because, it's probably more common, and of course, everybody being on those semaglutide drugs, who knows what kind of, things that has caused in
Right.
brain. So, You have to really, like you say, take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes it's just better to trust than to continue to poke and prod at your body for all kinds of evidence that there's something wrong with you.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Well said. Moving on to our library. What do we got today, Jenny?
Well, the library is at drcarolyndean.com. For those of you who are just joining us, you can usually find a QR code somewhere here on the show. Click on that, become a member, and get access to all of Dr. Dean's library, where all of her information is designed really to help you understand what you can do for your body, what your body requires, how simple it is to care for your body, and how you can have a community around you that is going to help you support you on that journey. So many people, I mean, this one gal could not even believe that, as we've said in our books, or your books many times, Carolyn, that 65 health conditions that are labeled as diseases are just magnesium deficiencies.
Mm-hmm.
Magnesium, the missing link to total health. If you have something that you've been told is a disease, you should probably get that book, flip it open to that diagnosis, and read about how magnesium is influencing the health outcome in that part of your body. And
Mm-hmm.
how could the body have that many? Is because 95% of known metabolic functions are related to magnesium, right, Carolyn?
You've put it up to 95. It was 80% yesterday, so it's up to 95. Okay.
It's at 95, and the reason why is because I was talking to our friend Grok, and
Oh,
when you take methylation factors into consideration, Grok feels it's more like 95%.
wow. Awesome. So there you go, folks. You heard it from Grok's mouth through Ginny.
That's right. So it's incredibly important for the body. So tonight, though, we're talking about the sugar-free kitchen, because in addition to being fully saturated with your magnesium and your minerals, you don't want to be dumping a bunch of sugar in your body, right, Carolyn?
Right. It's tough to resist. There's all kinds of fruit sugars, there's fruit juices, and people think, oh, that's safe. But all this sugar, the body is built for 2 teaspoons of sugar at a time in the bloodstream. 2 teaspoons. So a can of Coke, 10 teaspoons. Sorry, Coke. A can of soda, 10 teaspoons. A milkshake, I would like 20, 25 teaspoons. It goes on and on and on. So when you get that overload, and the cells can't hold all that sugar goes out and creates havoc. That's where eye problems come from, kidney problems, diabetic neuropathy in the toes, where the sugar builds up um, inside the cells, is not converted in the Krebs cycle to energy, but it's converted actually to a sugar called sorbitol, which is it's a big molecule. It can't get back out of the cell, and it builds up in the cell and busts the cell wide open. So
Mm.
that's where your nerve pain comes from, and where cell damage comes from, is too much sugar building up. And it's really sad to say, but sugar is kind of a poison, and alcohol is a poison. And what we're talking about today in the blog, see that transition, Ginny?
Beautiful.
We're talking about mocktails. We're talking about non-alcoholic cocktails. And you can find this blog at drcarolyndean.com. And Mocktail Magic, non-alcoholic holiday drinks to boost longevity and hormone health. We're going to be talking a lot about longevity in the coming months and years, because that's what everyone wants to hear. I was talking to my son yesterday, he and his wife, and he said, yeah, by 88 I'll be done. And his wife said, no, don't. Some people just can't imagine that they're going to ever die. And some people, they take it in stride. But most people, you ask an audience, who here thinks they're going to die? Nobody's going to put up their hand. This is what our focus is after maybe age, let's say 65, when they try to retire you and you think you're going out to pasture. People want to live longer lives. And some of the things you have to do to live longer lives may not seem pleasant. Like, you do have to keep moving, you have to keep exercising. You do have to curtail your sugar and your alcohol if you want to. I mean, even if you want to wake up the next day and feel healthy and not feel like you've been run over by a Mack truck, which is how I feel when I do a sugar overload. So you think about, I guess, the consequences. But here, in the blog, I quote my book, The Magnesium Miracle. Alcohol is one of the quickest ways to deplete magnesium stores, derailing the very systems that keep us calm, steady, and hormonally aligned. And I have a list of what alcohol does as it depletes magnesium. And it does that by increasing urinary magnesium loss. It just pulls it out, kind of like a diuretic. So it's going to affect your sleep, your muscle relaxation, mood and anxiety levels, your heart rhythm, detoxification pathways. It spikes cortisol. So all that stress that you have kind of naturally, and the stress goes to your gut, your fat cells increase because stress is interpreted by the body as you're going to starve. That's, I guess, it's an evolutionary concern. When you're in a fight or flight, it means you don't have enough food, so you're going to starve. So when you spike cortisol, cortisol goes right to the fat cells and starts storing fat. So that's interesting that alcohol on its own spikes cortisol. So in one of my other books, The Complete Guide to Mental Health, I explain how cortisol disrupts your calmness and emotional regulation, your digestion, your thyroid output, and blood sugar stability. Alcohol stalls the conversion of T4 to T3 of your thyroid hormones. And I I really OD'd on the books here. And in one of my other books, Total Body Reset for the Thyroid, I note that the thyroid is exquisitely sensitive to stress, inflammation, and nutrient depletion. Even a single night of drinking can reduce the availability of selenium, magnesium, B vitamins, and iodine, all of which are essential to convert T4 into metabolically active T3. And also, alcohol feeds yeast, just like sugar does, and yeast toxins can cause many of the same symptoms as alcohol. Lost my place. So, yeah, cause many of the same symptoms as magnesium deficiency. So now you have two big reasons to go alcohol free. So, like I started with, alcohol is a poison. And actually, I came across an article when I was going through this blog, and I might get to it next week. It's on the Mercola website. It's alcohol raises dementia risk at every level of drinking. So that's interesting. So, what do we substitute? Is it energy drinks with high caffeine like Red Bull? But actually, non-alcoholic drinks are now being infused with adaptogens. They're kind of stress herbs. So that's certain herbs, mushrooms, and botanicals, ashwagandha, reishi and cordyceps mushrooms, and lion's mane. So these ingredients are often marketed as quick fixes for stress, low energy, and poor focus. But if your mood, energy, and concentration need support, the issue may not be a lack of adaptogens, it may be mineral depletion. And I've said many times that I'm not a big fan of non organic herbs, and that can include non organic mushrooms. And mushrooms can bioaccumulate toxins such as lead, cadmium, arsenic, and mercury, especially if grown on polluted soil. So we just have to be real careful because, with our formulas, for example, we do a lot of third-party testing. Make sure there's no cadmium, arsenic, mercury, or lead. But if you buy mushrooms or drinks with mushrooms, they haven't done third-party testing, I can guarantee it. So, the blog will have a couple of recipes: chai tea latte and iced mocha smoothie. So I'm not going to go over, all the ingredients, but you can check that out at drcarolyndean.com. Right, Ginny?
Yeah. Yes, that is correct, and even better. I mean, even better, get the cookbook. The cookbook is
Oh,
the jam. I mean, I'm telling you, everybody loves this cookbook. People are blowing through the recipes. They love the food. They love the pictures. They're very satisfied with the meal serving sizes, and it's just a fantastic resource to have on hand. So,
right.
absolutely. Order the Sugar-Free Kitchen. You can order it at RNA Reset. I think you can get it on your website now, Carolyn. I think that change has been made. So be sure
Okay.
to look for the cookbook and absolutely use some of the recipes. We featured them all month long. So even open up one of the blogs, look at some of the recipes. We had cozy dinners last week, and take some of that information and apply it in, especially to your New Year's resolutions, because we know everybody's going to say, "Oh, I'm
Yeah.
going to cut back on sugar. Oh, I'm new things. Oh, I'm going to try these recipes." So this will be your guide for your New Year's resolutions as well.
Right. And what I like about the recipes is they don't have a dozen ingredients.
Right.
I mean, I don't bother with most recipe books because there'll be 12 things that you have to gather. And so it's just a few ingredients in each recipe and everything is delicious.
Yeah,
So
very,
that,
very good. Now, I
yeah.
have a couple questions for you, and I don't want to get too far away from the original topic. And one of them, because we're still in the food family, is asking about um, collagen and proteins, how amino acids are broken down. So the question was, did Dr. Dean say how to get collagen? Is it through protein? Did she mention amino acids? Where do we get our amino acids from?
You just get them from eating protein.
That's
Oh, and it's mostly animal protein, actually, that you can be assured that you're getting the 22 essential amino acids. And in those essential amino acids, you'll have what is it? Glycine, proline, hydroxyproline make up collagen. So just hear what I'm saying. When you eat something, the body doesn't take a glom of collagen and slap it on your muscles or slap it on your arteries. It has to break down protein into all the various amino acids, and then depending on the priority of what your body needs at the time, it will take the amino acids it needs to help repair your arteries or your muscles if you've torn them, if you're, one of these ultra marathoners and you're tearing your muscles all the time. But what will really gear your body up to make collagen is if you take enough vitamin C, because you absolutely have to have vitamin C to make collagen. So you eat the protein, the amino acids are running around, you take your vitamin C, and if you have been in a state of weakened arteries because you've been vitamin C deficient, and that's like bleeding gums or nosebleeds. I mean, when I was a kid, I had nosebleeds all the time.
right.
That was probably because I didn't have enough vitamin C. So that's the story. Eat your protein, take your high dose vitamin C, which is 5 to 10 grams a day, and you make your collagen. Bada, bada boom.
Bada
And
boom, bada bing.
yeah, the proof is in all the Linus Pauling work, where people with heart disease and all the rest of it, it starts with weakened arteries. The arteries kind of tear a little bit, micro tears. Collagen comes and slaps on a Band-Aid. If you're magnesium deficient, you have relatively more calcium. Calcium will precipitate on that cholesterol Band-Aid and create your plaque. So if you have your magnesium, it keeps calcium solubilized and turns it away into bone and tissue. If you have your vitamin C, you don't get micro tears in your arteries. So the proof is there for what I'm talking about. What Linus Pauling did, all his studies and research, which were never picked up by mainstream because you cannot patent vitamin C or magnesium.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
So we won't even go into the drug commentary. So I think, Sonia, that would probably be the most comprehensive discussion on that. So I think there would be a great answer there for you. Another question that came in, Carolyn, is there a guideline for taking the highest level of Remag Remite? I thought a teaspoon of Remite was the maximum I could take.
Yeah, we have trouble with kind of FDA compliance for what we're able to put on our labels. And when I used to be able to write about my products in my books, which I can't do anymore, the FTC will come after me for doing that. I mean, I think we have it written on the website where under Remag, it will say start with a quarter teaspoon and work up. And most people are up to 1.5 to 2 teaspoons a day. With Remite, a dose is 3/4 of a teaspoon, one dose. And we tell people to work up to 2 doses a day. So that's a teaspoon and a half. Pico potassium is usually 1, maybe 2 teaspoons. And Pico Zinc Plus is 1/2 a teaspoon once or twice a day. You have to take it with food. Pico Silver, I take 1 or 2 teaspoons every day just as an antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial. So, I mean, we kind of know, customer service knows. If you ever have a question, maybe I'm not taking enough, talk to someone at customer service for a few minutes and they'll set you straight.
And the other thing that's on our label is you can talk with your healthcare practitioner and they can even exceed our recommendations. And I have heard of that happening where,
Mm,
the person takes the bottle to the cardiologist and they say, really, you need 450 to 600 milligrams of magnesium because of
mhm,
your current cardiac condition. So your doctor could exceed even what we say. And
mhm,
some of them are starting to do that, especially cardiologists, because the FDA has given us approval to talk about high blood pressure and say that magnesium is beneficial for that. And it just stands to reason that if you can use it for blood pressure, you can use it for your entire cardiac system. And so
mhm.
a lot of cardiologists are becoming very proactive on high dose magnesium to balance the heart and to clear out the system and to remove plaque from arteries.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome, awesome.
Put
Okay, good,
it in.
good,
Let
good
them get in
question.
trouble.
Yeah. Anything else? I'm going to questions and comments now.
How would I use Pico Silver if I had a nail fungus?
What I would do is get some clay. It doesn't have to be edible clay, but I would keep edible clay around and put clay on a little. I just put it on the back of a plastic top. So I'll put that would be a 1/2 teaspoon of clay and maybe a 1/2 teaspoon of pico silver
Hmm.
and make a little mud pie and put it on the nail bed and wrap it and just wear it as much as possible. And what that will do, the pico silver, the clay keeps the pico silver adjacent to the problem, and it'll just, have its little fight with the fungus and take care of it.
Yeah, and draw it out. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Last night, Carolyn, this is a little testimonial I'll just share. I love when people really experiment and play with the formulas. My husband accidentally burned his finger, third degree, immediate blister, by touching the cast iron part of our gas stove. And I don't know why, but I just grabbed the Pico zinc and I stuck his finger in it.
Uh-huh.
Immediately took the pain away, immediately healed the area and started to work. It's amazing what our formulas can do. We could never make a label claim about it, and we certainly can't recommend it to everybody because results vary. But
Yeah.
it's fun when you feel confident and joyful and you can play around and see all the uses for the minerals because they're so diverse and the things
Hmm.
you can do with them. So I love that poultice. That's fantastic.
Right. Yeah, skin to skin. I've been using, I don't know. I do my crashing into things quite frequently for, just to try out the remedies. So I crashed my ribs, and I was dealing with it for a few days, and then Julie said, "Well, spray, put liquid magnesium on, spray it on." So I did it. I sprayed it on every hour yesterday, and seriously, it's so much better.
Yeah.
And rib bruises can be really horrible.
Yeah.
You can, there was something on X today. Spray magnesium on the soles of your feet before you go to bed.
Mhm.
There's so much you can do. And we've told people to spray Remide on their neck for their thyroid. And we've had people who are very scared of taking anything. And we tell them, well, just put it on your skin. And for children, spray it on their skin. It's just so remarkable because it's so well absorbed.
Very good. Final question, and then we'll go to your next segment, Carolyn, is there's a super flu going around, I guess. I don't have it. Amen and amen. But, of course, they're always saying get your flu shot. What are your recommendations, Carolyn, for not catching the flu?
It's to watch your sugar and alcohol intake and watch your conflicts, and take all your formulas. Probably take extra. If you're under stress on the holidays, take more Remag. Take the Pico Silver, but also travel in your purse or whatever pocketbook. Travel with our Flora Refresh. Spray yourself with Flora Refresh, and that will help keep viruses at bay. So it's a matter of viruses in these big crowded holiday environments. It's a matter of the conflict in these holiday environments that makes you want to uh, either extend your mucous membranes or pull your mucous membranes back. It's a very interesting discussion in German New Medicine, and it barely has to do with viruses, but just your relationship. So just be careful about how who and how you engage, because you could be setting yourself up. But the Flora Refresh, the vitamin C, high dose vitamin C will protect you as well. And if you get if you get a cold or a virus, what I do is I'll take a clove of garlic and hold that in my mouth for sore throat. And you can gargle with Pico Silver. There's lots to do. I probably have that all written out in my Future Health Now encyclopedia, don't I, Ginny? Under colds and flus.
Yes, and we have blogs at drcarolyndean.com, how to prepare for cold and flu season. So you can go to Dr. Dean's blogs and look for that blog. It's pretty common this time of year.
All right, very good. Okay, good questions.
All right, let's keep moving.
Questions and comments and testimonials. So this testimonial is perfect for our sugar-free discussion. It's about our yeast overgrowth formula, Flora Revive. And Alice says, I've been taking Flora Revive for several years now and couldn't be happier with the results. My digestion is great. And I never experienced cramping, constipation, or any issues at all. Actually, you can't go wrong with all of the formulas at RNA Reset. I'm especially happy with Remag and Recalcia liquid minerals. I add them to my drinking water every day. I know I'm absorbing the minerals, which are so crucial to not only my bones, but my whole body. These are high quality products. Everything they offer, high quality. Thank you, Alice. And then a customer, Richard, says about Remag liquid. Now, yeah, this is interesting because these testimonials and reviews are coming onto RNA Reset now. We used to just sort of collect them from Amazon, or people would give them to customer service. But we've opened up the, I guess, a place to put your comments or testimonials at RNA Reset. And we might have to edit out if it's too medical, but this is where you can leave reviews that will help other customers, since we really can't say anything about our formulas helping disease conditions. So Richard says, I've been taking Remag for over a year, and when taking it faithfully as directed, have no symptoms of atrial fibrillation. I have given out many of Dr. Dean's books. Now, what I'd say here to Richard is it's fantastic when our customers, they're like acolytes or for our products, but they should know that they can become affiliate partners and make a commission when they recommend our formulas. So I checked that out. Someone was asking me yesterday, and you can go to RNA Reset and then you click on, is it partners, Jenny? And then it'll the page will take you to a form that you fill out to become an affiliate partner, right?
Yes, that's exactly the way it works.
Mm,
Exactly the way it works.
right. And the last review on RNA Reset is for Pico Silver. Brian says, I take 5 of Dr. Dean's products and I intend to continue, exclamation, exclamation. I am 77. Annual blood work results are all in range. I need and take no prescription meds. See, that's what we wanted. That's what we like. It's been years since I've so much as had a cold or the flu. Thank you! Exclamation. So that's awesome. And I guess I'll jump right to the next pros and cons of supplements, drugs, and research. All I've said here, because I do want to get to the articles and papers, it's Amazon Pharmacy is marketing 50 drugs, 50 or more drugs for $5 a month. And that's great. Drugs are way too expensive, but with cheap drugs, most people will choose them and not the more expensive supplements. So, there's a real, push pull there. But that it just shows you how cheap drugs are really, and how the big pharma has really jacked up the prices so much and made themselves, trillionaires. So I'm ready for articles. If there are any more questions, we could do that first. Jenny, where are we? 238.
The one of our customers just said that the feet have the largest pores in the body. Now that is an unverified fact, I guess, but she said that's why they always recommend to use essential oils on the feet. So that makes sense that Remag would go whoop right up,
That's very cute.
right
Yeah,
up.
well, your feet sweat. So somebody asked Rock, do the feet have the biggest pores?
There you go. I'll get Melody Rose to do it. All right, let's
Okay.
keep charging.
So the first article is GLP-1 drug costs are dropping, but at what price to our health? So this is another good article from the Alliance of Natural Health. And they say, from a natural health perspective, this is not making America great again. by reducing the costs. I mean, I'm saying that about Amazon too. Reducing the costs is doubling down on the pharmaceutical first model that helped create our chronic disease epidemic in the first place. So once again, we're treating downstream symptoms rather than upstream causes. So we treat upstream causes by telling you to keep your cells as healthy as possible. So the article continues, we want to acknowledge something important. Weight is deeply tied to mental and emotional well-being. Losing weight can be extremely difficult. The appeal of medication that seems to melt pounds away is understandable. But the growing list of risks, increasingly downplayed by media and regulators, cannot simply be brushed aside because these drugs are fundamentally changing our culture and reshaping our behavior. Now, I suppose when someone um, just in general would say, well, someone who's 300, 400 pounds, they have to lose weight. They're going to die of all the side effects from being so obese. So it's a give and take, cost benefit or whatever. And so they say the Ozempic type drugs, they're going to give that person a longer life before the side effects of Ozempic catch up with them. And what happened though is these drugs were just designed for overweight diabetics, as I understand it. But then they just got picked up by someone who wanted to lose 10 pounds and look good at a wedding or something. And that's where all the side effects started marching up to people. So it's just human behavior, like they're saying here. It's tempting to say, well, I'll just take this drug and I'll lose my 10 pounds. But you have to be aware of the side effects. The next article, marathon running not linked to lasting cardiac damage. Now, I don't know why this got pushed out because we know, I mean, marathons, okay, so they even say they take a heavy toll on the body. And even for peak athletes, there's been concern about stress on the heart after 26.2 miles. Um, Apparently, the first marathoner dropped dead after finishing the course in ancient Greece. And this study found that while the heart shows some evidence of impairment right after a race, it quickly heals. And there are no long term negative effects after 10 years of repeated participation in marathons by male recreational runners. So it's all about heart damage. Uh, they don't say anything about magnesium and minerals that are lost through sweating, causing the sudden death that sometimes we see after a marathon. So this study was it was called Pro dash MAG and capital I, capital C. So with the mag there, I thought, hey, they're going to talk about magnesium, but of course they didn't. So the findings, they're saying, put a damper on the controversial idea that, excuse me, prolonged endurance exercise might permanently alter the heart and lead to exercise-induced arrhythmia, right ventricular cardiomyopathy. But I think it leads to arrhythmia. I mean, how many people are suffering now from atrial fibrillation? It's just customer service tells me that there's just a mass epidemic of atrial fibrillation, but they don't talk about that. They don't talk about the cases of acute heart attack or arrhythmia at the end of the race, which I've always said is due to sweating out your minerals, especially magnesium, and not replacing them or replacing them with these drinks that are just salt and sugar. So, I mean, it's interesting because you'll have these studies that try to isolate a little aspect of as they're saying here, heart damage and long term how many people got heart failure because they're marathon runners, but they're missing the whole complexity of all the nutrients that are involved and the hormones involved. So that's 2 down, a few more to go. Ginny, did you want to jump in with any questions?
I think nope, we're good with the questions here, Carolyn.
Copacetic. Okay. So this next one, popular heartburn drugs linked to kidney damage. Now this is from the Mercola site. They they pump out a lot of information. And with heartburn drugs, the protein pump inhibitors, I've talked about them causing magnesium deficiency. They even have a warning on the label about lowering magnesium, but now they're talking about the kidneys. So let's see. They're among the most widely prescribed medications. Yet research shows they cause long-term kidney damage, even in people who don't have kidney symptoms. So suppressing stomach acid long-term triggers serious side effects, including low magnesium, nutrient deficiencies, bone fractures, uh, infections like C. difficile, and even higher risk of heart problems and certain cancers. Contrary to popular belief, reflux is rarely caused by too much acid. It's usually the result of too little stomach acid, poor digestion, and weakened mitochondria that slow acid production and food breakdown. Now, I learned about this like 30, 40 years ago. They did research on people who suffered heartburn and had them swallow little pH monitors. And they found that, yes, if you've got this burning heartburn, it's low stomach acid where the contents of your small intestine, enzymes, etc., come into the stomach and start some of this burning. And that still hasn't gotten across to mainstream medicine. They still keep giving you things that will kill your stomach acid. And they're saying you can relieve reflux safely and restore digestion naturally by tapering off your protein pump inhibitors. And then Mercolis people say, and use safer options like Pepsid. Now, you don't have to go there. You can be using Remag, which helps support stomach acid production. You can use a type of licorice, non glycinated licorice, which does the same thing as supporting. What does it do? It coats your stomach mucous membranes and protects against whatever is irritating them. And then the Mercola people, because I don't think he writes his blogs anymore, they talk about then you support your mitochondrial energy. Now, mitochondria, yes, they make the ATP-mg energy for everything. So support mitochondrial energy with sunlight, real food, and eating hydrogen and chloride-rich foods to rebuild healthy stomach acid levels. They should be talking about magnesium. And the next article, longevity forever, exclamation mark. This is a med page today. And it was like a whining and critique by a couple of doctors who say, what should we do with the outside test results that patients bring us from longevity doctors? So they're getting the front lash or backlash of people going to naturopaths, maybe getting the 23andMe tested. We have been doing some testing for the study over here, and seriously, it's this huge bunch of results. So they're going on about patients who've seen outside providers, then bring them results to interpret, as well as patients who see specialists and alternative practitioners in the community who order massive batteries of testing and then recommend patients follow up with their primary care providers. Now, these doctors, I know it's very frustrating for them because they have 7 minutes to see a patient. So a patient comes in with this book of tests and it drives them crazy, I'm sure. Um, and the article goes on to say, in this modern information age where endless amounts of health information are available to patients, Google and ChatGPT can find more answers than a patient might know what to do with. More and more of our patients are biohacking themselves, trying to find out what's right for them, how to make themselves not feel so tired, sleep better, not age, not develop dementia or heart disease or cancer, or maybe just live forever in perfect health. So, they're kind of tongue in cheek there because they know that they can't make people feel less tired or sleep better or not age or not get dementia. These doctors have bought into the disease model where you just decline until you die. So one doctor said, maybe we should be getting back to a patient-centered medical. We can develop concierge lifestyle and longevity medicine for all. Um, and then it's just a very interesting article. Just last month, one of the doctors says the patient brought me 10 pages of blood test results, along with results of their total body MRI, fat, muscle, bone density composition, stress test, CT angiogram, cardiac calcium score, 24 pages of health advice, and the recommended supplements. The level of detail was remarkable, blah, 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 blah. Some of the suggestions, including many of the supplements, didn't seem to have that much strong evidence behind them. There also wasn't much there that would hurt anybody. And then they go on about, they're just overwhelmed. They don't have the time. These doctors, they work in HMOs. They're employees. They have this lineup of a patient every 7 minutes. So they just can't get into this. And what do they finish up with? As we hack into the genetic blueprint of our patients, we may find more and more tests that may be predictive of things to come. So this may be something we need to start thinking about, but only if we have something we can do about what we may find. And that's the big thing with any sort of preventive medicine as we know it. They don't have the treatment to keep people healthy. And then they go into gut microbiome, they don't understand that. And I just end up by saying they want to make it a one size fits all, and they can't do that. And they can't do it anymore because people have woken up, and when they go to a doctor with their book of test results and the doctor has some sort of reaction to it, then the patients just realize these doctors do not have answers. And the naturopathic alternative medicine doctors, they just have their list of 100 different supplements they want to sell to a patient. I think we are the only sort of bunker of information where we just tell you, take these half dozen, 6 or 8 vitamins and minerals to boost your cells, make your cells healthy because they are well absorbed, food-based, methylated, all the rest of it. They're precisely what your body needs. So I'm going to stop and see how Ginny's doing on the other side.
One thing I want to say about that, Carolyn, is I think the biggest problem is that if a doctor's recommending those tests, all the tests are coming into their system. Like you're talking about full body MRIs, if somebody walking with the stack of these tests, I wonder where they're getting them from. That sounds suspicious to me because that kind of diagnostic usually can't be ordered without a attending physician recommending those tests they're specialized. But let's
Oh
say,
yeah, they're getting them from alternative medicine doctors.
yeah,
This is they're going to an alternative medicine, but then or a naturopath or maybe a health consultant, and then they don't, mm, especially a non-medical health consultant
right,
isn't able to tell them what to do,
yeah,
and they sort of, they push the responsibility on to the primary care doctor. Oh, your doctor will help sort this out, and
right.
it's terrible. It's really terrible.
Well, if they walk in with all that paperwork, the biggest problem is they're not in their electronic medical system. These doctors don't know what to think. If the
Mm.
test information and the blood results haven't been populated into their little click, 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 where they can then have the AI of that medical system tell them what to do, or what's the
Yeah, yeah.
standard of care, or
Right, right.
blah, blah, blah. So they just get all this big whack of information and they're like, well, I don't know. Let me consult my computer, and then they get upset that other buddy people are consulting their computers.
Yeah.
It's kind of silly, actually. I,
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult because then when when you go to AI for medical information and diagnosis, it is going to be drug based
yes,
because there is no standard vitamin and mineral, essential fatty acid database
correct,
that AI can consult to be able to put into an answer about your health.
correct.
And that's what's kind of scary.
Yeah. Yeah, you really have to push it and push it and push it to keep digging and searching to find, and especially depending on which one you're using. Some
Hmm.
of them are more big pharma driven than others as far as the amount
Hmm.
of whacked out data that has been loaded into the thing. I mean, AI is only good as the data that's put into it.
Exactly, exactly. Medscape has this thing now because I get all their announcements, and it's like, ask AI a question. This is the question of the day, and it's just all big pharma regurgitation.
Yeah.
So, and this is what the young doctors are getting.
Yeah. That's why you
Hmm.
still have to go back to muscle testing, common sense, getting good information from experienced people like Carolyn, who's been riding in this rodeo circuit for 50 years. She's seen every horse, every bull, every cattle, everything. And she knows
Yeah,
exactly what's going on, and also all the fads.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, the fads come and go. Uh, since I've been around for over 50 years, I've seen, um, yeah, I've seen them come and go, and I've tried them all, and I know what finally worked was what I've figured out for myself
Yeah.
and put it together. Even the yeast overgrowth stuff, the whole of the alternative medicine community, and certainly the allopathic community, has ignored yeast overgrowth because they just don't have a drug to kill it all off, and there's no group of herbs that will work, and you can't starve it. And I just was fortunate enough to figure out that I could do an very gentle antifungal and the humic fulvic and inulin and our barley powder, and kaboom, it just keeps things down to a dull roar because you cannot kill off all the yeast. The yeast in our large intestine is there for a purpose. You can't just run shot on it and use one of these big antifungals, which actually steal magnesium.
Mm, mm.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Very good. Almost to the top of the hour. We've got some more articles. Yes.
Nope, we're done. I
Oh,
mean, I do have them, but I thought I'd give us a chance to, just the end of the year, just say some words about what a beautiful year it's been, but it's going to be better, that sort of thing.
that sort of thing. It has been a fantastic year. I
Yeah.
think the most greatest thing that happened this year for us was when you started saying, um, none of our customers are sick. They don't
Mm,
get cancer and they don't have COPD and they don't get strokes and this and that. And they've been with us for a long time and they're all really healthy. And I wonder if we could do a study about
mhm,
how our formulas keep people healthy. And that conversation turned into what we're doing now in this longevity trial that you're doing over in Maui, that's going to spin off into a lot of things. And
yeah,
we've gotten a lot of great information to share with our existing customers about how healthy they really are, and
mhm,
possibly even how much younger they are than they think they are.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then also just the basis for a fantastic future of really
mhm,
encouraging people, because if you do live a long life and you're not sick, that means you're going to live longer. The body is not stressed out from disease.
mhm. Yep. Yeah, there's new testing available that's part of our trial that Julie and I are doing here, where we'll see how these tests pan out for us, and it's something then we can recommend to people to sort of prove where they're at, where that maybe not take to your doctor because they wouldn't have a clue what you're doing, but medical nutritional research, they have no clue what they're doing. They'll test one thing at a time, and they'll test synthetic vitamins and say, oh, vitamins kill people. The whole nutritional, mob has, they've lost the confidence, I think, of the public doesn't know that they've lost confidence in nutritional research. But when someone is taking vitamins and minerals and they feel better, and they start reading headlines that say, well, these vitamins actually hurt people,
Mm,
that that means you cannot trust what you're hearing or reading. And that's where, when Ginny and I said we've got to do something, we just wanted to do a survey, like survey our customers and say, can we express this in a paper? We talked to a person that we've done research with, and he said, no, no, you start here, you test people, you give them your formulas, you do it for 6 months, and then you retest. And okay, and I don't know if he thought he was going to do it, but we do not trust university study whatever research teams. And I've said it before, you end up with a graduate student doing the clinical interaction and not knowing a thing about whatever you're wanting to achieve. It would freak people out in a university setting to have whatever clients come in, participants come in, and give them all their vitamins and their minerals, and they would just freak out because they would say, well, it's not controlled. You'd have to lock them in a ward for 6 months and make sure they took it. I mean, the standards are just so ridiculously precise that
yeah.
they ruin the endpoint. You cannot get any information out of current nutrition research. So anyway, there's my ending rant for the day.
There you go. I knew it was in you.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I think the testimonial we got today was the best one. I'm 77, no meds,
Mhm,
no diseases. I've been on the product
mhm.
for years and I'm never changing. And that's what we want everybody to say. And that's the experience we want everybody to have. And we hope that for you, for the there if you're not already there. But I know Al and Board and Elma and all of our good people and Super Dougie and Michelle and all of them that are with us tonight are having that experience. And we're so grateful. When is the vitamin C book going to be ready, Carolyn?
I'm giving it to Melody Rose as soon as we finish the third sugar book. And the third sugar book is on my desk for a final. I don't know what I'll do. I'll probably just lay my hands on it and say, yeah, it's good.
Well, again, drcarolyndean.com is where you want to go for all the resources. RNAreset.com is where you can find our formulas. Do not forget about your pets. PicoPets.com gets bigger and snazzier and faster every single day. And people are really picking up on the fact that at a cellular level, their dogs are pretty much the same as they are. And all they need is proper dosing and they can go, go, go. And that's what we're doing for you there. And then, of course, be sure to build your stack on Supco. Represent the brands and let everybody know that you're using our formulas there. And don't forget that you can send a gift still and always if you'd like to give the gift of help this holiday season, which is not over because the Epiphany goes until January 6th. So from December 26th to January 6th is the Epiphany, and that is the 10 days that it took the Magi to get to Jesus, and the gospel was preached to the Gentiles. So we want to celebrate that too. We celebrate everything. I mean, Kwanzaa day, Hanukkah's 10 days, but Christianity just goes on forever and ever and ever and ever. We celebrate it all, though. We're happy to be with you this holiday season. All right, Carolyn, anything else?
Every day is a holiday. That's what I always say. Every day.
That is very true, and she definitely lives that way. All right, mahalo.
Aloha.
Bye. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. See you next year. Yay.
You have been listening to Dr. Carolyn Dean, the doctor of the future. Become a member of drcarolyndean.com and get access to all her leading edge of creation information, as well as archives, webinars, and other valuable media resources. Join Dr. Dean and Ginny Almighty same time again next week.